Hey everyone, it's Rihanna and welcome back to another video. So if you didn't already know, I'm a massive fan of Disney. Like huge. So today I thought I would sit and sip tea out of my Sebastian the Crab mug from The Little Mermaid and talk about the new live action Beauty and the Beast. It's a retelling of the 1991 Disney classic animation which, you know, no pressure, was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. No big deal. Now the 2017 Beauty and the Beast does things a little bit differently, and I mean the tiniest bit different, because it's practically the same film with a little bit more background, world building, a few new characters and songs, and just everything's alive now, like actual humans. There is some humming and hawing whether or not this is just a cash grab or whether or not live action remakes are important, so I thought I would tell you my thoughts on the film and my thoughts on live action remakes of classic animations in general. So let's get down to it. So the film Beauty and the Beast. I won't lie, I found it incredibly magical. It had its ups and downs, but it brought me back to my childhood, and if something can do that, you know it's incredibly magical. Beauty and the Beast was one of my favourite animations and still remains one of my favourite animations from Disney. It's a classic, it's beautiful, it's a great story, and if you haven't seen Beauty and the Beast, where have you been all of your life? Please go watch that now and then return and then we'll talk about it. Beauty and the Beast tells the story of a young woman named Belle who lives in a small village in France, and she's different from everybody else. She's labelled as odd because she reads books and is smart. How that's odd, I don't know. And Belle finds herself the prisoner of a cursed beast in a mystical castle when she takes the place of her father, who was captured for stealing a rose from the garden. The Beast in this film is played by Dan Stevens, who is incredibly talented and is taking Hollywood by storm. This guy is amazing. They use motion capture for the Beast and you can really see the emotions behind the Beast's face in Dan Stevens' acting. He deserves a lot more recognition for this film, guys. And you have all of the characters that are in the animation. You have LeFou and Gaston, who are incredibly impressive in this. I think they are hilarious. Luke Evans as Gaston was just a match made in heaven. And then you have Sir Ian McKellen as Cogsworth the Clock, and you have Ewan McGregor as Lumiere the Candlestick, and I never knew I needed Stanley Tucci to voice a piano until this film came out. Tea breaks are important. There are tons of impressive things about this live-action retelling of Beauty and the Beast. The acting, for example, is perfect. Emma Watson is great as Belle, Gaston is great, Dan Stevens is great as the Beast. All around everyone was pretty great. The motion capture was pretty impressive, especially with the moving furniture and with the Beast with Dan Stevens. Very, very impressive stuff. I think the new songs are great, especially the song Evermore. There is the new song for the Beast, which is the emotional standpoint of the film, and every time I listen to it, I'm just heartbroken again. This new retelling gives a few new backstories to a few of the characters, gives a little more depth to some of the characters and some more world building as well. I really like that these new live action ones are going more into the story that the animations don't necessarily go into. As well as the good, there are some bad bits about this retelling of Beauty and the Beast. For example, I didn't feel like I was in a castle when we were in the castle. It was very, very fake. It looked really nice. The production design, the costume design, all looked really, really nice, but you couldn't necessarily believe you were in this castle. It looked very CGI and you could tell, which really brought me away from the story a little bit because I wanted to feel like I was in the castle with these characters. In the original animation, I felt like I was in the story. Animation can do wonders for that, but with this CGI castle, I really couldn't get into it. I guess the other kind of bad bit about it is that the story is something we've already seen, and trying to compete with the animation is never really going to work, considering, as I said, animation, Best Picture nominee, kind of hard. Also, the direction from Bill Condon. He has done a musical before in Dreamgirls, but Dreamgirls isn't the most exciting musical of all time when it comes to films. I'm sorry, Bill Condon and Dreamgirls and Beyonce, but Bill Condon's directing wasn't anything new or fresh and didn't really take any risks. It was very kind of standard and by the numbers direction, so I think he could have gone in a lot of different ways with this new Beauty and the Beast. There were rumours at a point that Guillermo del Toro was going to direct this film, and oh my goodness, I would pay so much money to see that. Taking into consideration both the good and bad points of this new retelling of Beauty and the Beast, I can still say I thoroughly enjoyed watching this film. I thought it was magical, it took me back to my childhood. I love escaping into fairy tale worlds, so sue me. And with every other live action remake, the question is always asked, was it necessary? And here I actually think it was. Belle as a Disney princess is very intelligent, very brave and very strong, and is a great role model for the younger generation, and Emma Watson is the perfect person to play this role, to give a new generation a role model to look up to. In this version we have a lot more character background and world building, which definitely adds to the story. I don't think that was unnecessary, I think that was really good to have in there. And we have more character— ooh, I just spilt my tea. This is a travesty to England. And we have more character diversity in Beauty and the Beast, and I can't stress enough how important I think representation is. We have person of colour characters in this version of Beauty and the Beast. We have a gay character in LeFou, which people were upset about, and I can't deal with those people. But character variety and representation is so important, and it's really not that difficult. I think it's great that Disney are making more of an effort to have representation in their films, to have important messages in their children's films, especially for the younger generation. I really like the idea that a new younger generation are going to grow up with these films like I grew up with the animation, and they're going to have tons of worlds to explore and more representation, which I can't stress enough is very important. The Disney live action remakes that I can think of the top of my head which are in the process of being made are The Little Mermaid, which I am down for because Lin-Manuel Miranda is involved, so of course. The live action version of Mulan is something that I think is incredibly important for representation, especially if they're going to have an all Chinese cast, which they better or I will riot. I did read somewhere that they were going to cut all the songs out though, and I don't think that's a wise decision. I'll Make a Man Out of You is great, and I think Mulan actually works as a musical, so I'd be really sad to see it not be a musical. There is another live action Jungle Book coming out, but I don't think that's Disney, but it'll be Andy Serkis, so it'll be really good. Pretty sure I heard something about a Maleficent 2 as well. Not sure how I feel about that. The live action Dumbo, the live action Winnie the Pooh, the live action Lion King, all of which I don't think are going to work. I know the Jungle Book worked really well, but all of those involve a lot of animals. And live action elephants, I just don't think it's going to happen. And sooner or later they're probably going to tackle the more recent Disney princesses such as Anna and Elsa in Frozen and Rapunzel in Tangled. Tiana in Princess and the Frog I would be all for, but Frozen, just leave it. Just leave it. Some of them are necessary and some of them are not so necessary. It doesn't stop the fact that Disney are going to continue with these live action remakes for as long as they're making money out of it, and that will be a long time. Don't get me wrong, I will be first in line to see a live action remake of Mulan or The Little Mermaid, but I think it might start getting a little bit ridiculous when Dumbo comes out. I can't get over Dumbo. Dumbo's just such a dumb idea. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the live action Beauty and the Beast and live action remakes in general. Please leave a comment down below on what you thought about the film and what you think about this topic. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing lots more videos very soon. All my social media links are down below in the comments if you want to come follow me. I am at Rihanna Toria on everything. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you very soon. Bye. I have to put my tea down.